Greetings! Welcome to the Devlog for hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, we have a continuation of my work on the rework of Take and Hold. And so before I actually explain what I have operational and how things are working, I figured we'd jump right into some gameplay. Remember, this is super early. This isn't remotely balanced. I'm still stitching everything together. Here we go. Let's get our... Here we go. Smoke down. There they are. Down there. Grab that. Doing good. Still analyzing. Doing good. Good. On fire! And they got me during a reload. Wonderful. So that was actually about the perfect amount of gameplay to show off to begin with, so that you could see pretty much everything that is going on, including me getting wrecked. So the basic idea now, with the hold phase of the game, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll do so again, is that we have this system node in the center. This is sort of what we are hacking when we are holding this area. Play in a hold sort of section of the game proceeds through a series of encryption phases where we're basically hacking to try to figure out what the encryption is. That's where you see that first group of forms floating in the air. That lets you know where they're going to appear, but you don't know what they're going to be yet. The system is still analyzing them. And there's eventually going to be like 10 different types of encryption targets. Some are static, some take multiple hits, some move around, some fire back at you, etc. While you are waiting both for it to be analyzed and to then eliminate those targets before time runs out, you are going to be attacked by waves of troops like before, in escalating groups. Obviously, I have things dialed way the hell up, so each one of these waves is coming from 2 to 3 entrances, and they're coming very frequently. Basically, I'm trying something different this time around, where I balance first from the upper end down, basically make it intolerably difficult, and then sort of edge it down to just barely doable with the sort of equipment I expect you to have, instead of the sort of prior version where I sort of worked up from the bottom but never ended up making it sort of satisfyingly difficult enough for those of you who are going to be playing this for dozens and or hundreds of hours. So yeah. My general rule of thumb for challenge over the course of this project has come to I, despite all of my contact hours, should lose most of the time and occasionally win. And if that's the case, then it's probably balanced best for a general audience, because y'all are younger and sprier and such than I am. So yeah. Cool, so as you saw, once this begins, each phase, a certain amount of dynamic cover raises up out of the ground. And those include cover points that the AI can see and fight on. Let's see, let's actually just, this is going to end up being a little chaotic. I'll do it with the music turned down, but now that I have told you all of this, let's actually start a hold. And what I'll actually do is I'll do things like intentionally destroy some of the covers so you can see it better, and try to narrate over this. Alright, here we go. Don't get wrecked immediately. Cool. So it's scanning the system. Our cover comes up. At the end of each wave, cover gets replaced. That is gone with new random cover. So I can just wreck this. Oh, got a dude coming in. Can actually deal with him too. And the cover isn't perfectly bulletproof. You probably saw in the last round, you can indeed wallbang through it before it's completely destroyed. Just take a hit? I don't think so. Cool, and then the targets appear. We can see we have 60 seconds in this phase to eliminate all of them. That isn't a final design determination. I still need to balance it. It might be different based on the target type. We will see. Cool. And then when you complete that wave, we begin scanning again. Cover comes up to replace the destroyed cover. More enemies are dispatched. Analyzing again. Oh no! Don't waste all of your ammo at once, Anton. Wonderful. Whew! This mode works up a sweat. Yes, it does. Especially when you're a fatty like me. Oh, I love how the destructible cover's working. Oh no! Got someone up there. Oh, his gun's empty. Here I am making a fool of myself, and I even dropped my gun. Way to go, Anton. Let's just get ourselves killed. I surrender! Anywho, let's go ahead and jump out of VR now and talk about sort of schedules and what the next stuff I'm working on is. Yo! Very out of breath Anton here, out of VR now. I have been playing this all morning, and so I am a little worn out, and as you can see, a little glistening as it is now officially, because it's like late April, it's time for it to get hot in LA. Anywho, so in terms of what is operational now with the mode is that I have laid out all of the control points, areas that targets can spawn, areas that cover can spawn, cover points, etc. for the entire map. That looks like this. Yes, that was quite painful to do. But now that that's all laid out and I'm beginning to get all of these systems stitched together, I'm getting to the point more where I can actually get a whole loop of the gameplay functioning again. I always tend to build things of this complexity from the bottom up very, very carefully, in a big way, because the first Take and Hold was basically just an experiment. It was not coded good. And so to do this rework, I started from scratch, because I didn't really have a code base you could build on top of. Anywho, so that's operational. I've defined essentially the definition of what a progression is going to be in the game. Essentially, what is a run in Take and Hold? By default, it's no longer going to be a go as far as you can go mode, because I want to score it in a particular way, and I want more people to have that sort of sense of like completion with it. So right now, the plan is to make it 5 hold rooms long, with the individual hold rooms being a little bit longer than they are in the current version of it. Actually, you know, I don't know if that's true. They might actually be shorter overall. It's just at certain points in the curve, they might be longer or shorter. But what that means is, but it's going to be a lot less chaotically random, a little more controlled. I want a slightly more predictable difficulty curve, especially so that you'll be able to practice a character and their progression. So even though the room where things take place in each room will be randomized each run, the difficulty, the type of challenge for level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that progression will be roughly the same each time. That way you can just make more interesting decisions when it comes to equipment. You can sort of learn the difficulty curve for that character and be like, you know, if I need to make sure by the time I get to number 3, I've got 2 grenades on me, or I've got a regen power up, or man, if I don't have a drum shotgun by 4, I'm going to be in trouble. I want that to be predictable in certain ways so that you can make interesting, predictive sort of equipment decisions using the object constructors. Whew. So that about does it for this week. I'm super curious to know what you think. Obviously, I know there's some of you who might find Taken Hold, you know, challenging in its current form, see the little gameplay that I showed off and be like, oh my goodness, how on earth am I supposed to play that? Don't worry. I don't even know where that amount of sort of enemy spam sits in terms of the difficulty curve. I only just got it wired up like a day or two ago, and so now begins the long balance process of finding something that fits really well, so that if you want to play a character who starts out with 2 6-shooters, it's an appropriate amount of enemies to fight and challenge, and at the same time, for someone who wants to take an LMG in, there is an appropriate character loadout for that, and assuming that you have the ability to just spam tons of rounds. So yeah. Anywho, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all soon. Peace.